How you doing today? I am 3R David, and today I'm going to give you 7 tips to film better with your smartphone. Marker, quiet on the set.
7 steps to a better video.
And action. At Third Reality Productions, we work with lots of YouTubers, some of them more experienced than others, and these are some of the tips that we give our clients when filming themselves to produce better videos for us to edit. So the first thing that you're going to want to keep in mind is that you're going to want to film horizontal, not vertical. Some platforms like your Facebook stories and Instagram and things like that, sure. But in general, when it comes to editing YouTube videos, it's a lot easier to edit horizontal videos than it is vertical videos. The next thing that you're going to want to do is use a tripod. Even if it's a janky one, it's better than holding your phone all shaky. Even if it's a little bit crooked, we can fix that in post-production. Also, make sure when you film that you're not shooting selfie side. The selfie side camera is a garbage camera. I mean, it's nice to be able to see yourself on the selfie side, but this camera is not going to be as good as these cameras. So that's going to be super important. The next important thing is going to be good framing. You want to be in the sweet spot, right here in the center, with your head in the upper part of the screen. You want to make sure that you have a little bit of room to crop and edit if need be. The next thing that we're going to want to take into account is good sound. Now, first, let me show you what it sounds like when you just use in-camera sound. It sounds pretty bad. We might go with this if this is all we have, and maybe there's a little bit of audio stuff we can do to it, but you really can't do much to it. You really want this nice, good quality sound, so that way your video sounds good. You can have a really nice looking video, but if it sounds bad, it's gonna seem low quality. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna record sound separately. If you're recording sound separately, you're gonna need 3 things. You're gonna need a microphone, an audio interface, and you're gonna need some kind of digital software. So in terms of microphone options, there are these directional mics. You can point them in a direction and they get sound from that direction. There are condenser mics, which are the more common like desk mics that streamers and people who are recording musical vocals or something like that, they'll use this type of mic usually. You can use a mini recorder or record on your phone. You can attach a lapel mic. You can even potentially get a wireless lapel mic and hook it to your camera. But regardless, one way or another, you need to get good sound. If you have a PC, you can use Audacity. You can download it for free if you have the Audacity. If you have a Mac computer, GarageBand is a built-in software. All you have to do is plug your microphone into your interface and your interface into your computer, go into the settings and select your interface, and then your microphone should be up and running. So you do want to check your microphone waves and make sure that they're not too small. And you also want to make sure that they're not too big to the point where they're going out of the frame. As long as they're visible waves in the center, you should be good. Pro tip is that you can snap or clap, and that's really helpful for being able to align your audio with your video. You're gonna wanna get good lighting. One thing that you can do is stand near a window, and that can be a really good source of light. If you do get lights, you're gonna want one key light, which is blinding me right now, to illuminate your main subject. You probably wanna put it slightly to one side, so that way there's a little bit of natural shadows happening on one side of your face. And then you have a side light to fill in the shadows of the key light and maybe to give you a slight edge. This is what lights can do. This is the main key light. This is the side light. Of course, you can do other things, light the environment or whatever, but we're not gonna get too into that today. You can watch a lighting video online for that. We are going to include links and descriptions for some of the items that we suggest. The reason that you want to light your scene is not just because it's too dark and we need light. It's because normally the way auto settings work, the highlights are always blowing out. They're always getting so bright and you can't recover any of that data. Whereas if it was actually a little bit darker, you could turn up the brightness and potentially get some of that back. You might get an okay looking shot with your auto settings, but the chances of you getting a beautiful looking shot are much higher if you get in there and adjust the manual settings to be perfect for this shot in this context in this environment. And this is why the next step is to use the manual settings in your camera. You want to make sure that you're filming in at least 1080p, if not 4K. You're going to want to make sure that you're shooting 24 frames a second. Make sure that you're not doing digital zoom into the graininess. Sometimes your smartphone will have multiple camera choices on the back. Make sure that you're using the one that's standard, not the super wide, not the ultra wide, but the one that's appropriate for this type of shot. To set your camera's manual settings, you will select your phone's Pro mode or go to manual mode. This will allow you to change your ISO and shutter speed. Once you set up the lights, set your ISO to 100 and your shutter speed to 1/50th. If the scene looks dark, lower your shutter speed to 1/30th. If it still looks dark, increase your ISO until you are exposed correctly. And if you're still dark, well, you need more light. Phones have tiny sensors, which translates to grainy footage if it's too dark, like inside a poorly lit office room. This means of all the settings on your phone, the most important is your ISO setting. The ISO is very important because it has to do with the light sensitivity of your lens. For a bunch of technical reasons, higher ISO, like ISO 800 plus, will make your shot brighter, but makes the footage really grainy. Lower ISO, like ISO 100, is less sensitive to light, so your shot will be the highest quality it can be. So basically you want to lower the ISO as low as possible without losing the quality of your image. This has been 7 steps to a better video. Let's do a quick recap, shall we? First step, film horizontally. Second step, use your tripod. Third step, use the front-facing camera. Fourth step, center your subject in the frame. Fifth step, get good audio. Sixth step, get good lights. And the 7th step, use the manual settings in your camera. If you apply all 7 of these steps, you will be well on your way to much better videos. If you like this video, definitely subscribe. I hope this was helpful to you. And if you're interested in more of what we do, check out our webpage. Peace.